What's going on, guys? Hi. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Hi.
Yeah.
It has.
It has.
We
it
know.
Has.
We know.
We're trying to get it together, guys. We're trying to get it together. Welcome. Hi.
Hi.
It's Fox and Miles.
Yeah.
I know it. We know it's been a minute.
It's been about 4 months.
Yeah, just about.
Give or take.
Just about. A little over a quarter.
Yeah.
But we're back. And we got plans. We got things that we're gonna try to accomplish, and we're really trying to stick to it, and get it done.
We share some of those plans with our patrons.
Yes.
Shout out to y'all.
Yes.
We see y'all. We love y'all.
Yeah. And so, if you want more of the details, you can go, and support as a patron.
As a patron.
As a patron, the lowest tier I think is $5.
$5.
$5.
But but you'll see the plan come out with every video.
It's gonna be we're manifesting and believing it's gonna happen regardless. We're
trusting God.
We're trusting God. We're gonna do work and we're gonna make this thing happen.
Yeah.
We got visions. We got plans. We got dreams. We got things coming.
Oh my God, baby.
Anyways, this is the podcast.
Yay!
Podcast episode, and as you might notice, we're rebranding the name of the podcast.
Yes.
So the new name of the podcast is the Black Dream Podcast.
Tell us about the Black Dream, baby.
The Black Dream. The Black Dream, more specifically, is really whatever you want it to be. But it's really focused on dreaming and inspiring Black people to live out the things that are in their heart and to manifest the beautiful and amazing life that we believe God has for you. And so we chose the Black Dream because I think it's not an antithesis, but it's a different perspective than the American dream.
And which we've talked about in a different video.
Right, which we talked about in a different video. But just that idea of this is what success is.
Yeah.
This is what excellence is. This is what you should achieve. Well, we're going to say, nah, scrap that.
Yeah.
Whatever is in your heart, whatever God has given you the desire for, that's what that dream is.
That's what you do.
Again, we're specifically focused on Black brothers and sisters. Because that's our people. Yeah. And we want to support and see our community grow and thrive. Yeah. And so we want to support that, and we want to do whatever we can to help, instill that and foster that.
Just like we said in a previous video, in a video we do for our patrons, just like whatever community you belong to, whether that's Christian, Black, woman, whatever it is, whatever, community you belong to, you should be doing your part too in uplifting and encouraging your people. And so we're doing the same thing.
Yeah. We want to uplift our people.
Yes.
So thanks for checking out. Yeah. So thanks for checking out the Black Dream podcast.
Yay.
More episodes will be coming.
Yes.
And it's going to be great. It's going to be great. But today, what we're talking about, I guess the way we would title it is, I guess, when the ish hits the fan.
Oh my.
So I'm not going to say it, because
please.
I don't want to get, I guess we could, but I don't want to get demonetized. I don't want to do any of that. But when the ish hits the fan.
Yes.
And so, so a little backstory to this concept, I guess the title is, when I was ninth grade in high school, I had a science teacher, which is really interesting. I had a science teacher, he was a very interesting guy. His name was Thomas Stickles.
That's an interesting name.
Yeah, he was a very interesting guy.
Yeah.
He was cool though. He was very cool. But at one point, he was an older gentleman, and sometimes he would go on these tangents, and which I think is I don't know how often teachers do that,
I love it
in schools, but I appreciate that when if they're going on, it's like a wisdom giving tangent, so they're trying to instill some wisdom or whatever to their students, which is great, So he was our earth science and maybe biology or something like that, but it was ninth grade science at the time, and graduated in 2006. So that's 2002, 2003, I think. Anyways, it was my ninth grade year in high school. But yeah, so Mr. Stickles.
I'm sitting here doing the math. What that mean with all the calculations?
Mr. Stickles was telling us at one point, it's like, your generation, he's talking to a classroom full of ninth graders or whatever, your generation is going to be the generation that has to deal with all of the problems that happen in the world and in America. Yeah. So at that time, it was kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, Mr. Stickles, you're old, and we don't. I mean,
but you're a kid.
Yeah, it's like you have no idea what you're talking about, and you're putting all this weight and pressure on us. What are you talking about? The reality is, the ish hits the fan, and he was right.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, that I was thinking about that the other day at some point recently. That he was right.
Yeah.
Everything seems to have just collided all of the problem issues and problem things that have come and happened during this time frame, during this generation, like the past 8 to 10 years. Like it's all, and it's getting, you know, I feel like it's being more and more intensified, and we've seen it like during the pandemic and stuff like that. And it's like crazy, like how and why and what's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening?
And what am I supposed to do about it?
Right, exactly.
How can I fix this thing?
Right, right. And survive through this. And I mean, it just really seems like this is crazy.
Yeah. Because you were 2 years ahead of me. So in 10th grade, it was 2006 for me. That was your graduating year. And so if y'all remember in 2008, that's when like the market crashed, right? So we're just fresh out of high school. It's like, life is going to be awesome. And then LOL, the market crashes. And so everybody's struggling. Everybody's scrambling. Our parents are struggling, right? And they're trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I feel like that whole period was a time of transition for a lot of us. Like, it was like, okay, we're going to college, or we're starting a job or whatever it is. But then like, it kind of seems like everything was kind of against us at the time. So we're just coming out of a hole and then having to like make our, stake our claim in life. And it's like, oh, life is hard, So, then what happened? Graduating?
Yeah, I mean, then graduating. Like even that though, like that period of time, the 2008 when like the recession and stuff hit, like 2008, it was just a turning period in general, especially in like
Obama got elected.
Yeah, exactly. Like
you're right.
And so that's 8 years of Obama starting there. So like that's a huge shift. Yeah. It's a huge shift.
Just in like and in like mentality.
Yeah.
Too is like, oh snap, we can be president.
Right. Right. It's like shoot, man, just floodgates. Everything is coming down. It's like opportunity and stuff like that. Yeah. And then of course like technology and the internet, everything is starting to boom. Like I remember 2007 is my freshman year of college. We're both part of this organization, this Christian organization, Alpha Nu Omega Incorporated. And at my school, at the University of Maryland College Park, we would have different performances and ministry moments or whatever. And I somehow decided to be one of the people who would film everything, right? And so got a YouTube channel or whatever. But I remember that at that point in time, you could only upload like 3 to 5 minutes of content on YouTube. Yeah. People can go live for hours now.
That's true. 5, 6, 7.
It's ridiculous. Like, and things have changed so rapidly. Like, idea of being a YouTuber didn't exist. No. It wasn't a thing.
A content creator. It's like, what's that?
What? Influencer? What does that even mean? Nobody knows.
No.
But things have changed. Yeah. And it's led to even just the economy changing. The idea of working a regular 9 to 5. Yeah. That concept, chuck that. That's out the window. And it's definitely happened now. Yeah. Because of, the pandemic and stuff like that.
I feel like that's a touchy subject too for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when we came out of school, I think we talked about this before, but just like our generation was told, you go to college, you get a job, and then everything's going to be perfect for you. We went into deep detail about that, our college experiences in a previous video. But like, I really feel like once we got out of college, we realized, oh snap, this is actually set against us. So we're coming out of college with this dream of like having these jobs that pay well, good benefits and all this other stuff. And we realized, oh snap, they moved the marker. Yep. Like, so now a bachelor's degree is like almost as equal as like a high school diploma or what it was in 2008, Right. So now that we have these college degrees, we have hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And of course, hindsight is 2020. We probably wouldn't have taken out those loans, probably wouldn't have done the same thing. Yeah. Y'all have heard it before. Yeah. But I really do feel like for a lot of us, it was just kind of like, we were in this transition. Like, I feel like our generation was the generation that didn't have the internet at first. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the internet has taken over everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like even now, I feel like we're all trying to figure out what is that new normal? Like beyond the pandemic, before the pandemic hit, it was still us trying to figure out how are we supposed to live this new normal of what life is supposed to be. So
I mean, even like just culturally speaking, when it comes to even excuse me.
It's natural.
Right, it's natural. But culturally speaking, like the relationship between people, stuff like being PC. There's so much to this change. Like we were watching The Office the other day.
I love it. I love The Office.
And realized that
these jokes would not fly.
That show couldn't come out.
No.
That show could not come out. Like if it was being released today in 2021, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Like, in no way. I mean, you know, luckily, I guess people have the opportunity to go back and watch it on whatever streaming platform. But that idea of, like, so much has changed and, like, so many issues that have existed for a long time. Like, I'm just thinking about this wasn't that long ago. Definitely within the last maybe 5 or 6 years. But, like, the Me Too movement. Yeah. That in itself was huge. Yeah. Huge.
For good reason.
For good reason.
Yes.
But all of the standards and all of the things that were considered normal and all the things that were just accepted hit the fan. Yeah. And it just happens over and over. And it just seems like more and more stuff is happening.
It seems like this is the season of reckoning.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
everything is coming to light.
Right.
Everything. And again, for good reason. Good reason. Like, I do feel like there has been this, like for the Me Too movement, for example, women have been telling you this for years. Right. It's just that nobody has been paying attention. Right. Or even recently with the Black Lives Matter movement, like, you know, kind of recent, but recent as in like the last 10 years. Yeah. Like, Black people have been telling you this has been going on for years. And it's just now coming to the forefront where it's like, oh, we actually care now. Right. Or sadly, oh, it's marketable now. Right. You know what I mean? And it's trendy to be, the sad part I feel like is that it's trendy to be PC. It's trendy to be considerate. Yeah. And unfortunately, some people are being, like, disingenuous when they're like, oh, you know, yes, Me Too movement, and time's up. The time's up thing too. Yeah. What else? Like, all these other movements, and it's a cute hashtag, it's a cute pin, it's a cute like, if I put this on my business, then, like, I hope to get more business. And so sometimes you kind of wonder, are you being honest and authentic, or do you really believe this, or are you just thinking it's good business? Yeah. So even trying to figure all that out is just like, you know. Yeah, and it's just a really strange time that, like, all this stuff happened. Even recently, like, for those who are Christian or, you know, in church culture, is more and more, like, there were already scandals. Yes. But there are more and more scandals coming out, like, and it's sad because a lot of the scandals, I think, were mainly in, like, the African American community. But now it's everywhere. Like, I'm about to say it's everywhere. But it's again, like, I feel like it's been happening. I just feel like they've had there's a lot of thoughts that I have about that, but I feel like the scandals have been happening. Like, you hear about pastors passing away, and now all of a sudden people are coming to the forefront with all these stories and all this history. And it's like, where was this stuff when it was happening? And I feel like these people had more people cover them, and, like, hide their you know, infidelity or their you know, whatever they did, like, from the public eye. And I feel like now it's, again, either people just finding out on accident, or, like, people on purpose, like, no, this is not okay. Like, we can no longer have this. So and it's just, again, it's a weird time, but I think, like you were saying, like, it's for good. And I think it is good. With the idea of the ish hitting the fan and stuff like that, it really does require us to think and to reconsider what's really important, what's really going on. Yes. Whether it's economics, whether it's politics, whether it's governments, whether it's relationships, whether it's even just mental health. The idea of, like, mental health and mental illness, that in itself is coming to head. You know, like, there's so many things that, which is good. It's become so common. It's like, counseling. Right. Back in when I first started college, like, counseling was such a taboo. Like, it was, there was, even upon graduating, there still was. But I feel like now, like you said, like, mental health is like, oh, this is normal. People do experience mental health issues. Not that, normal, as in, like, this is something that happens. You don't have to feel bad about being depressed or anxious or having some other kind of chemical, you know, imbalance or whatever. And while I do feel like it's beautiful, I feel like it took us a long time to get here. It took us a long time to get here. And it's really interesting because I think part of that, the stuff hitting the fan, is like, with our generation, there's this, with the stuff hitting the fan, there's this gap between the previous generations who didn't experience that. So even just the idea, we're talking about mental health and, like, counseling. For a long time, especially in, like, the, you know, Black community, getting counseling was kind of frowned upon. Like, what you doing? You know? Or we didn't have the resources to go to it. Or didn't have the resources, And it's just like, but now it's like, no, we need to get counseling. Like, I have to get counseling. Like, there's so much stuff that's been looked over, covered up, and all this stuff over time. But now, like, it's like a balloon that was popped. It just filled up so much, and it's popped. And now there's this, almost like this schism
of ideas is like, no, this is how we have been doing it. And they're like, no, this is what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's really hard for a lot of people, especially from different generational gaps. Because yes, we know millennials will blame for everything. And, we'll probably blame Gen Zers for stuff or whatever, whoever Gen Z is next, right?
Yeah, so it might be our kids, whatever generation that is.
Whatever. But that, it's always like the next generation is getting blamed for stuff. And like, yes, millennials are blamed for everything. The economy's bad because of millennials.
Just like baby boomers were blamed for everything from what is it, the silent generation? The silent?
I think so.
I'm not sure. Sorry, I forgot that wrong.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
But just again, it's just like this clashing of all this wall almost. Like we're running into this wall, and now we have to figure out what do we do. And I think it's important that we have platforms like this. We have opportunity to have podcasts, have YouTube, and have all of these different uses of technology to really figure this stuff out. Because I think for a long time we've been only listening to like the American dream that we've been marketed. Mm-hmm. That's been it. That's been the standard. That's been our guiding path on everything. But now we have an opportunity to actually have conversations, to actually sit down and discuss things, to actually do our own research.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. No. But like even to know what the American dream really costs, right? Nobody really considers the mental strain, the physical strain, the financial strain. Right. Even the fact that even if you achieve all this American dream, they can just come and snatch it away anyway. So it's like, so we're all trying to achieve this American dream. But what I will say, even about the mental health part, is that even though mental health was like looked at as like, oh, that's something Black people don't do, they were still seeking counseling, whether it be with friends. Like you think about like Black sanctuaries, right? The church, the barbershop, the nail salon, the hair salon, all these places where people gather in community and can kind of just like, you know what this person did the other day. That's counseling. That's exactly what counseling is. And you have people bringing you through it and people talking you through the situations or just saying, I see you, I hear you, I feel the same way, right? Yeah. So really there is no difference except that, these people are technically like professionals. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we've been seeking counseling in community this whole time. Yeah. It just looks different. And a lot of the stuff I feel like with our generation, a lot of the stuff that has been toxic for so long, like we're calling it out. We're saying, no more. That's not okay. Like it's not okay to do that. And I feel like it is a privilege that we have because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, the previous generation, they sucked because blah, blah. No, the previous generation were dealing with the circumstances that they had. Back in the 70s, 60s, and 50s, like, was it really appropriate to call out certain things? Could you call out certain things? Also, you had your own things going on in your own community, right? So like, beyond just what's happening in your house, you're worried about like how you're going to be perceived out in the world on the street from the mass majority. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like we are privileged. Like I do agree that our generation is privileged for sure. And I don't think that privilege is a bad thing. I think that we should use that privilege, one, to help each other, but also the people who came before us. Right. So if we're going to counseling, we want our parents, our grandparents, our aunties, our cousins, whoever to be able to go to counseling as well. Like it's not about, oh, I'm better than you. It's like, no, there is better for us and we should all go together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's sometimes a very difficult paradigm switch. Yeah. Like being able to look at things differently. Because again, if you're so used to walking this line of doing things, like even the idea of like, we talked about the Me Too movement, there are a lot of, online or whatever, I don't think anybody ever like actually said it like on a news reel or anything, but a lot of people are like, well, what are we going to do now? Like if women are acting like, but it's like, wait, what? Just because women are expressing that they're being mistreated doesn't mean we got to stop living. Like, how about we just do better and like change some things? But the
fact that people were like triggered by that, right? Like, oh, y'all doing too much. It's like, how?
Yeah, like no, we're literally just pushing back against what has been wrong for this whole time, and it's so. Again, it's a paradigm shift. Like you have to be willing to accept that. Like, no, this is really what's going on, and we need to change. Yeah. But it requires work. Yeah. It requires effort, and it requires, I think, empathy. Like you really need empathy to be able to understand. Like this is real life for people. Like people are actually experiencing these things, and the reality is stuff ain't as great as TV likes to tell us. Like
or reporters or
right, and it's just like no, and I think again that's more reason to be able to have conversations like this, like to be able to have the Black dream, so that you can reorient yourself. Because we've all hit a wall. Regardless, we've all hit a wall. Like whether you're the wealthiest or not, we've all hit a wall, and we can respond. We can choose to respond differently. And I think the hard part is realizing that, okay, we have to do something differently. Everything can't keep going the same way. Like if you get in a car accident and the car is totaled, you can't just try to keep driving it.
No.
Like, you need to get out. It might blow up.
You might could.
You might could, but you need to get out.
Depending on the value of the car, but it would be ideal for you to get a different car.
Yeah. You got to do something different so you can get to the destination that you really need to get to.
Yeah.
And again, it's just really crazy that like all of this stuff has happened and not realizing it. Like this has just been a progression. Because even if we talk about like civil rights and things like that, the civil rights movement has been happening. Yeah. But the reality of what we're seeing today in our culture is different. Like hearing, people say who were part of the civil rights movement, whether they were younger then or are significantly older now, but seeing how this is different. This is totally different, and all of that is good, and it's disrupting so much stuff, like so many things, various things, whether in small communities or large community at whole, has changed in this generation. It's just really wild that happened, but I think it's also a wild time to make a change for better.
But it's also with the help of the people who came before us.
Exactly,
like we couldn't have had this change that we're experiencing now without the people whose shoulders we stand on.
Oh, most definitely.
Even this trying to, achieve whatever the dream is without the people who came before you, it's not going to work. It's not going to make sense. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's addressing past traumas, whether it's, again, using their wisdom, a lot of y'all like to throw away, like older people, they have the answers. They know what's good. They know what's real. But we fail to really seek them for wisdom and for understanding. Yeah. So we keep repeating the same cycles over and over again because we're not learning from the people we came from. Yeah. Whether it was good stuff that we learned from them or bad stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Excuse me, I'm burping a lot. It's sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.
It's natural.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But anyways, that's really just the idea that this is a turning point. Yeah. This is definitely a turning point for all of us. And we should be aware of it. And we need to take advantage of it. Yeah. For the betterment of people, of families, and of everything. Like this is a turning point, and we need to do some work to get there. And so hopefully, what we'll be doing on the Black Dream podcast is helping with that work by continuing to have conversations like this, interviewing individuals that have achieved their dreams or on their way to their success, to the Black dream that they have. And so yes, hopefully you continue to stick around.
Yay.
And check out more episodes and stuff.
Yes. And check out our previous stuff. If you're new here, we welcome you. Thanks for being here. Yes. And we're back.
Yes.
We're back. And we're going to show you how what's been hitting the fan has affected us and how we're changing some of the things we're doing too.
Right. Exactly.
It's a turning point, like you said, for all of us.
Turning point indeed.
We love it.
Yeah. So we love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode.
Yes.
Or I guess the first episode of the Black Dream podcast. Technically.
The first episode of the year.
Yeah, first episode of the year.
Yeah.
Her first episode of the year. So thank you guys again for always supporting.
Thank you. And thank you for your patience and for your love and your support. Yeah. We just needed time.
But until next time, you guys be safe.
Next time. Yes.
Much love.
Much love.